Here's a question that sounds simple but will start a war in any group chat. Who is the most loved actor in Hollywood, and who is the most hated? Because the gap between those two things is sometimes one bad interview, one weird movie, or one really stupid decision on live television. And what's wild is that some of the most hated actors today used to be the most loved. So let's get into it. We're ranking Hollywood's biggest names from universally adored to publicly roasted. And some of these might genuinely surprise you. We have to start with the guy who might be the most universally liked human being on the planet, and that's Keanu Reeves. This man has been famous since the late 80s, and there is not a single credible scandal attached to his name. Not one.
I know that the ones who love us will miss us.
He's done The Matrix, John Wick, Speed, Point Break, and he's somehow stayed the exact same humble, quiet person through all of it. There's a famous story about him giving up his seat on the subway to a woman carrying groceries. There are set photos of him sitting alone on a bench eating a sandwich, looking like the most unbothered man alive. He reportedly gave millions from the Matrix sequels to the special effects and costume design crews because he felt they deserved it. In a 2019 interview with Stephen Colbert, he was asked what happens when we die. And he just said, "I know that the ones who love us will miss us." That's it. No performance, no deep philosophical monologue, just a real answer from a real person. And that's exactly why people love him. He doesn't try to be anything. He just is. Now let's talk about someone who also doesn't try to be anything other than exactly who he is, and that's Denzel Washington. Denzel doesn't do social media. He doesn't do gossip columns. He doesn't show up at parties just to be seen. He shows up to work, delivers one of the greatest performances you've ever watched, and goes home. Training Day, Malcolm X, Fences, Glory, The Hurricane. Every single one of those movies has a scene where Denzel makes you forget you're watching a movie. In his AFI Lifetime Achievement speech, he talked about his mother making him go to a Boys and Girls Club when he was a kid in Mount Vernon, New York, and how that one decision kept him off the streets. He's been married to the same woman, Pauletta, since 1983. Over 40 years. In Hollywood, that's basically a miracle. There's a reason younger actors like Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan have publicly called him a mentor. The man just carries himself differently. All right, now we need to swing the other direction. Let's talk about Jared Leto. Look, Jared Leto is talented. He won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club in 2014, and his performance was genuinely incredible. But everything surrounding that performance is where it gets weird. During filming for Suicide Squad, he reportedly sent used condoms, dead animals, and a live rat to his co-stars as part of his method acting process. Margot Robbie confirmed the rat. Will Smith talked about receiving bullets in the mail. And the thing is, his Joker wasn't even that good. It was maybe 15 minutes of screen time, and most of it got cut. Then there's the whole 30 Seconds to Mars situation, where he basically runs what people have described as a cult-like retreat on an island in Croatia. Followers wear white, Leto walks around in robes, and the whole thing looks like a deleted scene from Midsommar. He's never been accused of anything criminal, but the vibes are just permanently off. He's one of those actors where you respect the talent, but you'd also cross the street if you saw him coming. Okay, palate cleanser. Tom Hanks. If Keanu is everyone's cool older brother, Tom Hanks is everyone's dad. He's been in some of the most beloved movies ever made. Forrest Gump, Castaway, Saving Private Ryan, Philadelphia, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, where he literally played Mr. Rogers and somehow made it feel natural. He's been married to Rita Wilson since 1988. He collects typewriters. He once returned a student's lost ID card that he found in Central Park by posting about it on social media. During COVID, he and Rita were some of the first celebrities to publicly share their diagnosis, and he handled it with zero drama, just honesty. There's a reason he's hosted the Academy Awards multiple times and nobody complains about it. He's the human equivalent of a warm blanket, and Hollywood desperately needs people like him. Now, speaking of the Academy Awards, we have to talk about the moment that completely rewired one man's entire public image. Will Smith. Before March 2022, Will Smith was one of the most beloved entertainers alive. Fresh Prince, Men in Black, The Pursuit of Happiness, Ali, Hitch. He had range, he had charm, and he had this ability to make everyone feel like they were his friend. Then he walked onto the Oscar stage and slapped Chris Rock across the face on live television. over a joke about Jada's hair. And the thing is, the world watched it happen in real time. The memes started within seconds. The hot takes lasted for months. He won Best Actor that same night for King Richard and gave a tearful speech. And the whole thing felt like watching two completely different realities collide. He was banned from the Oscars for 10 years. Projects got shelved. The public didn't know whether to feel sorry for him or be angry at him. So most people just felt both at the same time. He's been slowly working his way back since then, doing press, being vulnerable in interviews, but that moment is cemented in pop culture history forever. It'll probably be in the first line of his obituary, and that's rough for a guy who spent 30 years being America's favorite movie star. But if there's proof that Hollywood loves a good comeback, look no further than Robert Downey Jr. This guy was arrested multiple times in the late 90s for drug possession. He served time in prison. Studios wouldn't insure him. His career was basically declared dead by every trade publication in the industry. And then, in 2008, he put on the Iron Man suit, and everything changed. He didn't just come back. He became the foundation of the most successful film franchise in history. The Marvel Cinematic Universe literally doesn't exist without him. And what people love about Downey is that he doesn't pretend his past didn't happen. He talks about it openly. He's funny about it. In interviews, he'll reference his lowest moments with the kind of self-awareness that makes you root for him even harder. He's proof that your worst chapter doesn't have to be your last one. And now he's won a second Oscar for Oppenheimer, playing a completely different kind of role, which just shows the range was always there. Let's talk about someone whose lowest moments are still very much playing out in public, and that's Amber Heard. The defamation trial between her and Johnny Depp in 2022 was one of the most watched courtroom events in internet history. Millions of people live-streamed it daily. Every reaction, every statement, every legal maneuver became a meme or a debate topic. Regardless of where you stand on the case, the public response was overwhelmingly one-sided. Heard's role in Aquaman 2 was reportedly reduced. Her career opportunities dried up almost entirely. She eventually moved to Spain and has stayed largely out of the spotlight since the verdict. It's one of those situations where the court of public opinion moved faster and hit harder than any actual courtroom ever could. And finally, we need to end with someone who went from untouchable to unwatchable, and that's Kevin Spacey. For years, Spacey was considered one of the greatest actors of his generation. The Usual Suspects, American Beauty, SE7, House of Cards. He won 2 Oscars. He ran the Old Vic Theatre in London. He was at the absolute peak. Then in October 2017, actor Anthony Rapp accused Spacey of making sexual advances toward him when Rapp was just 14 years old. More allegations followed. Netflix fired him from House of Cards within days. Ridley Scott reshot all of his scenes in All the Money in the World with Christopher Plummer in 9 days. His entire filmography became uncomfortable to revisit overnight. He was later acquitted in a civil trial in 2022 and a criminal trial in the UK in 2023, but by then, the damage to his career and reputation was total. Studios won't touch him. Audiences won't watch him. It's one of the most dramatic falls from grace Hollywood has ever seen, and it happened almost overnight. So that's the spectrum, from Keanu Reeves sitting quietly on a bench eating a sandwich to Kevin Spacey getting erased from his own show. Hollywood loves building people up, and it loves tearing them down even more. The difference between being loved and being hated sometimes comes down to one moment, one decision, one thing you can never take back. If you made it this far, drop a comment and tell me who you think got ranked wrong. Who deserves to be higher? Who'd you add to the list? Hit subscribe if you want more of these breakdowns, and I'll see you in the next one.